Good afternoon. This meeting's been given public notice in accordance with section 19.83 and 19.84 of the Wisconsin State Statutes in such a form that will apprise the general public and news media of subject matter that is intended for consideration and action. Roll call shows both chiefs here and all trustees present. Please be advised that per section 19.84 subsection 2, that information and comment will be received from the public. It is the policy of this municipality that the public be limited to a 3-minute period per person with a time extension granted at the discretion of the chairperson. Please be advised that there may be limited discussion of the information received, but no action will be taken under public comments. Would anybody from the general public like to come forward and speak this evening? Seeing that there is none, we've also received no comments via the email. So we will move on to item number 4, which would be the approval of minutes from the August 5th meeting.
Move approval is presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, please? There being none, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Moving on to item 5A, Chief Snow, monthly police reports, please.
Thank you. A couple items of interest over this past month. In August, our officers along with the fire department did participate in the countywide active attack training or rescue task force training. This is a countywide training that we've done jointly with municipal agencies every year for probably the last at least 5 to 6 years. Gives our agencies a chance to make sure they're using the same training and able to respond to these massive incidents and to find out where we need to improve. So we're very happy that we're able to coordinate that every year. August 9th, one of our officers was involved in a pursuit, was checking a vehicle that we had received a call on. As he turned, the vehicle immediately fled from him before he even activated his emergency lighting equipment. He did activate the emergency lighting equipment and pursued the vehicle on Donjas Bay 2 Division Road. The vehicle was already quite a ways away from him. He did see some dust in that area, found that the vehicle had crashed. It did result in a fatality to the passenger of that vehicle. Because it did result in a death, an outside agency did investigate the incident and the State Patrol investigated the crash. We received notification that was sent to the district attorney's office. Our officer was found to have acted in accordance with the law with no wrongdoing. We conducted an internal and found that he violated no department policies. So he was returned to work shortly after the incident.
Thank you, Chief Snow. Committee, any questions for Chief Snow, please?
Should I bring up the Maple Cross or Maple Road barricades?
It's up to you. I don't have any issues with it.
So the Maple Road, it's closed down because for construction, obviously, but there's been no construction going on and the barricades are still there. And it is a highly utilized street, including for police officers. So the barricades that are there, why I don't understand why they can't be moved until actual construction starts.
That could be a DPW.
Yeah, the notification we have is that it should be starting tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Not even today? Or like this last weekend? So when the barricades were up, they were just there kind of for nothing?
They did.
So you guys don't put the barricades up?
Yeah,
Correct.
They cut last week on it.
Yeah,
They
but
cut
it,
over all
you can tell.
they cut over all the culverts and everything like that. So there are cuts across the road.
But you can't, like, it's completely drivable.
I-
I can attest to that.
Did you run the
Didn't
barrel?
do anything. I did
who-
not.
Who blocks the road, please?
The contractor responsible for the project.
So that's
and that-
DPW issue then?
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll take it up with DPW.
Thank you. Anything else for Chief Snow? Chief Delane, please.
We have started hiring some of our people from the referendum. 2 people are currently going through our training academy. This is the second week of the academy for them. So after this week, they will then have a few ride-alongs to do to become familiar with some of our protocols as far as medical and things of that sort. This week is the fire section of the academy, so they're enjoying the heat that's supposed to be coming as they proceed through that. Otherwise, we're basically kind of status quo right now.
So, so then we still have 2 FTEs left to hire then, Chief Delane?
We have more than that actually yet. We are going to be starting for the beginning of next year. We're working on some situations where we need some more bedrooms right now.
From the referendum.
Right.
Okay. So how many FTE equivalent openings do we have, please?
There will be 3 more, I believe.
Three 1.0s?
Yep,
Okay. Thank you. And you're not hiring them until next year?
correct.
Thank you. Any other questions for Chief Delane, please? Okay. Monthly overtime reports, please. Chief Snow.
Tracking roughly the same as we have all year. No major ups or downs in that. We should have 2 more off of field training shortly. So we're just kind of looking on maintaining and improving that as we go through the year.
Trustee Baum.
How does that compare to last year, year before? Is it on par with this year, which is equal with last year?
It's significantly down from the last 2
Significantly
years.
down. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Next month, could you put a number on significant, please?
Sure, I'll take a look at that.
Thank you. Chief Delane.
For July, we were high. We had a lot of people out on medical. But for August, it has been the second lowest month of the year. And with the new people coming on board, we should see it go down even a little bit further.
That'd be great if we could get a year-over-year comparison also from the fire department. That
I
would be
can
wonderful.
tell you that for August, we had 410 hours. I do not have last year's numbers, but I can get that.
Thank you. Questions for Chief Delane, please? Moving on to 5D, policy updates. Chief Snow.
And none for the police.
Thank you. Chief Delane.
Nothing for fire.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6, 6A, dispatch consolidation update, please. Chief Snow.
September 3rd, our third shift operations were turned over to Washington County. I would like to read a statement that was basically a last call that was read over the air on that day. This was put together by one of our dispatchers, communication officer Erica Hansen. Attention all listening stations, this will be the final radio transmission from third shift communications at the Germantown Police Department. For over 56 years, since March of 1968, the Germantown Police Department Communication Center has been staffed 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The communications officers working around the clock have impacted the lives of countless individuals and families, answering calls for help, providing assistance to those in need, and saving lives. The Germantown Police Department is grateful to those communications officers, both present and past, who have served the village of Germantown with the highest level of integrity, honor, and respect. Working nights, weekends, and holidays, sacrificing personal time with family and loved ones to proudly serve the community. At 2200 hours on today's date, Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024, we will be turning our third shift, our third watch over to the men and women serving as communications officers at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. We have complete confidence that they will perform their duties with the same level of professionalism and dedication. We pray for the continued safety of our officers, firefighters, paramedics, and all other emergency responders, as well as the residents, workers, and visitors to our community. Germantown Police Department third shift communications, KRM 747, clear at 0600. So we're about a week into that transition and no major issues with that. That has went as smoothly as we can expect. Finding certain things that just need to be addressed along the way, but nothing of major concern at this point. It's went well so far.
And, and thank you. And Chief Snow, could you please just touch on or elaborate a little bit about the open, I guess I'd call it a safety room or the lobby for third shift, should a citizen find themselves in need during those hours?
Yeah, so we, Norcom came in to do work in the lobby so that the person coming into that lobby can secure that door from the inside. Once they do that, that person cannot exit, no one can enter until an officer comes in off the road to open the door. There's also a phone in there that will get directly to Washington County so they can ask for immediate assistance.
And that is secured glass, I assume, bulletproof?
I don't know exactly. I believe that was changed over quite a few years ago. The glass certainly to the dispatch center is. The door going into the lobby, I would have to look at that.
And the person is unable to let themselves out? An officer must come to the scene, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Any questions about that, please? Trustee Pieper, please?
Yeah, Chief Delane, is there, there's always somebody at the fire station as well, correct?
That's correct.
So even if, I don't know, it's unappealing to go to the safe room at the police station, they would still be able to come to the fire station and receive help as well. I know you'd probably have to call police officers in for domestic situations, but it would be a safe place, right?
Yeah, the fire station is staffed 24 hours a day, with the exception of if they're all out on calls, but
And there's EMS there,
Right.
so
yeah, they can call if someone does come there, they could call for assistance, absolutely.
we should probably make that known to the public.
Yeah, thank you. That's a
But the
good-
police station would still be the ideal.
Yes, of course, but we have a police station and we also have a fire station and both are safe havens.
Correct.
Thank you, Trustee Pieper. Trustee Cutts, please.
I stopped over at the PD to see what the new setup is. When you come in the main area, there's a small red sign above the phone that you can pick up and call. Once you open that door to go into the area outside of dispatch, that's an automatic door that keeps going. So my question would be is if someone's in a hurry, are they going to be able to pull that shut and latch it? Because once you get in, then you have to read this little sign about pulling the handle to lock the door. So I'm just thinking if someone's frantic, I
Yeah,
don't.
and I can't answer that question. It's not a perfect system. It's not the ideal system, but it's what we have for now. Their ability to do that before someone following close behind. But the way it is right now, if someone was following close behind, there would always be that chance that it would take several minutes for an officer to respond from off the road, even with the dispatch calling someone in off the road. Again, not the perfect situation. I don't know of any way to make it that, but yeah, there's certainly limitations involved with it. There's no doubt.
But that's taking into situational factors. So there could always be a police officer there perhaps, but
There could. It's
that
all
that
chance.
is only for if all of police officers are dispatched. Right?
If none are in the building.
Yeah. But
Correct.
there's usually one in the building, right?
That's hard to say. There's frequently at least an officer in the building, whether they're doing reports or it's a supervisor working on, reviewing reports, reviewing citations. There's just too many factors to really guarantee that someone's going to be in the building. Again, it's certainly not the perfect situation, but the kind of the best we've come up with for now.
And then Trustee Cutts, just a quick question. Are there two doors entering?
There's the main one when you just go into the PD and then you go to the right to go into the lobby by
Mhm.
dispatch.
So the safe room is
Inside the
inside the second
area.
door? Okay,
What would be the lobby now?
okay. So there's only one entrance into, well, you have to go through the double doors and then you have to go through the single door.
Right.
Okay.
But I guess, can you test to see, since it's an automatic door, if someone would be able to pull it shut? Or if it's gonna be fighting that automatic
If you can
door?
check the tension on it and make it close somewhat quicker.
We can certainly look at that and see what we can do to make it as easy as possible. Sure.
You're fighting two issues there. That door has to be done a certain way for ADA. So maybe one is non,
If you pull, if you're able to pull it shut, or if you have to wait for it to finish opening.
you can,
That's the
you,
question.
when you pull them shut, you can speed them up, but you cannot shut them immediately.
When dispatch is fully at the county, when the other shifts are done and you just have the clerks in the building, what are their schedules going to be?
That has not been determined at this point. I think what ideally, we would like to have office hours from 7 AM to 7 PM, Monday through Friday was one of the things that we had discussed. How that looks once we are at full staff, I think that's probably the scenario that we'll strive for. But with 6 dispatchers and making sure that we're able to hire, or 6 clerical positions and making sure that we have that fully staffed will be the challenge.
So then the lobby would be, or no one would be there on the weekends then?
But likely not, no. Well, I think most places, when you look at the consolidated dispatch agencies, typically are looking at office hours, like shooting for like a 6 AM to 6 PM or 7 AM to 7 PM, Monday through Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Committee, any other questions about this particular item? Thank you. Moving on to the public safety building update.
So we're have meeting number 4 scheduled for next week. We did meet with them a couple weeks ago, us along with the fire department. They had prepared some drawings. We reviewed those, made recommendations, things that probably needed to be changed. I was off all last week, so I didn't get a great deal of time to look at the drawings yet, but they did send back some drawings with those changes. So we will meet again next week to review those.
Any idea when we'll have a presentation that we can see or get an overview, please?
I'm sure we would know about the next PSC when that would be.
Yeah, there's a couple moving targets that we have right now. Either one was October 7th, I believe it was, for a possible meeting, and the other one was later in October, as we work out some details if we can't make the October 7th one.
Okay. So potentially it could be in November.
Could potentially,
Okay.
we're shooting for October though.
All right. Thank you. Thank you both. Unfinished business, item C, weather siren update and requested quotes.
And we do have Sheboygan Warning Systems with us again today. Thank you for coming and being here with us and explaining things that are above my pay grade.
Well, welcome back.
Thanks. Nice to be here per usual. Any questions about the quotes now that you guys have them? They're very, very, very drastic in price, being that the first option is literally just for next gen. That's going to be no control upgrades to the sites at all. That's going to be just bare bones. You can't see the status of the sirens. You can just set them off. Is pretty much it. The second option, you'll still have the two-way status, and there'll be some upgraded controls as well with that. That's about the difference. Other nuances, but any
So for those
questions?
watching, you're discussing a $22,659
Yeah, it's very drastic.
cost versus a $128,897 cost.
Yeah, very drastic.
And what happens if we don't do either?
If you don't do either, then the sirens will not get activated when there's a tornado.
Like, as of when?
As of whenever dispatch is fully removed. When there's no one there, then they will not go off anymore, except for the tested times.
So as of today, or as of September 3rd?
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna ask. Does that mean as of 6 days ago? Because we don't have anything.
Must be then, yeah.
Yeah, so right now we are relying on the supervisor on duty to do that.
So if a supervisor, whatever supervisor is on duty, no matter what shift, could they still do that?
They could, if they are available to do that.
I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. I am.
It's
I mean,
completely up to whatever
if
you
have
guys feel
one person
comfortable
that
with.
doesn't listen to the radio or turn on the TV or have a smartphone that alerts for, I mean, obviously you can see when severe weather is coming and then you go to check and
So we need a motion.
was this put on the agenda as an action item?
I believe it was today.
Action by committee.
I make a motion to make no action as of today on this item.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second for discussion.
We have a motion and a second. Committee, please. Trustee Cuts.
We go with the less expensive, the 22,000, where it's just equipment. What is involved for maintenance? I mean, are we
Maintenance is
fine?
gonna remain the same for the sirens. I don't know the amount off the top of my head. I wanna say, year one, it's right around 3,000. Year two, it's like 1,000 or 2,000. It's not a extreme amount of money, and we've noticed too that the amount of service calls for the sirens have went down as well. We've done a good job of cutting out things that we don't need to do with the sirens, in turn making them last longer, and there's just not a lot of issues with them. They keep going, there's no issues, so that's why we presented these options, as it's still a good resource for the village.
Then this lower option, how, if there's an emergency, it's automatically
Yeah,
set?
there's no
No.
human interaction at all. It'd be all automatic, going through the NOAA cap feeds.
Okay, because my only concern with the supervisor, if they're involved in a call, they're not going to be paying attention or stopping to do this, so that could be an issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Cuts. Trustee Peeper, please.
Yeah, I had emailed all of you an article from Greenfield, Wisconsin, that their sirens cost about $30,000 each and cost about $250 a year to maintain. I think that's something we should look into. I had emailed this out a while ago, but why are they paying exponentially lower than what we are?
Probably their
What do you
new.
mean in one regard?
But they cost 30 grand each.
Yeah, for a brand new siren. So say you wanted me to set a siren
Like
right outside there.
$1,000 for batteries for these sirens. Why didn't we get new sirens then?
We didn't pay
Yeah,
100,000.
how many,
No,
it was
it
like
was-
3 years ago, we paid,
6,000, I believe it was, somewhere around there, 6 to 8,000. I'd have to reference.
Yeah, we had requested upgrades to all the software, which was going to be up in the hundreds of thousands, but
yeah.
that's when Sheboygan Warning came with some solutions that were considerably less expensive.
Yeah, the batteries we split up into 2 years. So the first year, I don't have the number for that, but for the second year, which I believe is a little more expensive just because of inflation, that was $5,785 for the other half of the sites.
I think
So
we should have Administrator Kreklow reach out to Greenfield and see what they did and find out exact costs.
I'm fine with doing that. I just wanted understood that as of today, we may or may not have tornado sirens from 11 PM to 7 AM,
Depending on what
Depending
supervisors
on-
are on duty
depending on
or,
police department staffing availability.
Yes, we are largely assuming that we would be able to take care of that, but worst case scenario, yeah, that could be problematic.
Specific is never a wise path,
Yeah.
but thank you. Trustee Bohm.
I am only going to say that I have been contacted on various occasions on various topics that people don't have technology. The elderly people in our community don't have technology. And therefore, they don't have a phone. They don't have a
Radio?
computer.
Do
I
they have a
don't
TV?
know if they, I don't know what they got, but they don't have technology that will alert them.
The
I'm
TV will.
sure we have TVs, I'm sure. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else. But we have those people in our community that say they have no technology too. So if you're gonna rely on
So
cell
the-
phones and whatnot,
The status and the challenge we have right now, if I'm understanding the system, we could get the sirens to go off on first and second shift,
There's a supervisor in every shift.
but they're not working alone on, and on third shift, the supervisor is alone.
Correct.
And there may be a delay. And so cell phones and TVs may or may not be on at 3 AM.
Correct.
And the current motion we have on the table is to delay the decision. And we want instructor Krecklo to reach out to the city of Greenfield.
Correct.
Trustee Cut,
And yes, and also to look into possibly some other alternative methods. I have neighbors who are deaf and they can't even hear the sirens.
fair enough. Trustee Cuts, please.
The article that Jolene's talking about, the Greenfield has the 4 sirens and the original cost on those was 30,000 each. And yearly maintenance, but this is 22,000 for how many?
This is not for a siren, like it's not to install a siren or anything.
Operation
It's
for
for the software and operation of the sirens.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions before we vote? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All
Aye.
those- All those opposed?
I
Motion passes 3-1, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to another unfinished business item, item D, discussion regarding current municipal code for solicitors, canvassers, and peddlers. Trustee Snow, Chief Snow, you don't want to be trustee Snow? I assume this item is yours.
It is not.
is it? And she
Well-
was here, but she left.
She
I
left.
can speak a little bit about it because I know that the solicitors have been a huge problem this summer.
Mhm.
Huge problem this summer, to the point where there are so many of them and they are working so many hours and knocking on my door. There was a week where I'd receive 1 to 3 per day. One solicitor, I even ended up calling the police on because he would not show me any credentials, tell me who his manager was, anything. And the reason I asked was because he was hiding in the bushes and my kids saw him. And he said he had to canvass a certain area in a certain amount of time and he was done. So he just decided to go into the bushes and scare the crap out of my children. I think this problem has gotten extremely out of hand, and I would like to also refer this to Administrator Krecklo to get ordinances modified.
We do currently have an ordinance on the books.
We do. They need to have a license, and they need to be able to provide it. But the gentleman that I've had an encounter with could provide neither. He had no identification, he had no license, he had nothing.
Of order.
Trustee Baum.
Do we need a motion on the floor before we can have discussion according to Robert's rules?
I make a
It's-
motion
it-
to send this to Administrator Krecklo to look into the exact ordinances and see if we can make them a little stricter.
The item says discussion,
Oh,
Oh.
well then no motion is allowed.
so
Okay.
Well, that's what I would like to see happen.
Uh,
trustee Baum, please.
Chief Snow, your group is responsible for going out and dealing with these people? Are you dealing with them? Is anybody calling you on them? Does anybody know about this situation other than?
So the process does start with us. When they apply for the permit, we do the background checks on the people applying for those permits.
The permits need to come through village board or public safety?
Not once I approve them.
No?
We just approve the backgrounds.
Be a possibility that we could look into is maybe having the applications, you approve them and then it comes through us. And the problem solicitors could be denied.
If I could deny them if they were a problem to begin with. I guess by problem, if you mean issues from past years, or we still respond to all complaints regarding them. So that one I'm not familiar with. I could look it up, and I'm sure that,
It's becoming a nuisance with,
and I don't know that we've issued more than years past this year.
I think
It
it's a
seems-
particular company that seems to be.
Can we hear from?
Donna, please.
Hi,
Hello.
what was your question for me?
The item on, item D for unfinished business.
Okay,
Did you put this on the agenda?
yes, our clerk's department, yes. All licensing and permits, applications do go through us.
Okay.
Do you have a specific question regarding it?
At the request of who is this on the agenda, please?
For the peddler and solicitor,
Correct?
the company is Everlight Solar.
So this is in regard to one specific company that has come to your office to ask?
No, it's unfinished business item D, discussion regarding current municipal code for solicitors, canvassers, and peddlers.
So this was a previous discussion that was had that we wanted to kind of talk about if we were going to look at other neighboring communities to say, do we want to minimize the amount of time they can be out in the field canvassing? Do we want to change our code to say that solicitors can only go up until 7 p.m. to the residents? So this was a previous discussion that was had, and we wanted to bring it back
Okay.
to talk about what you thought that ways that we did receive a couple of complaints. I can't speak on years previously, but to Chief Snow's point, I don't think that the number of applications this year is that much different in previous years because as Trustee Pieper was stating, there are specific companies that put about 14 to 15 people out in the field. One of us is an insect pesticide company. So they have lots of people in the field at one time. And this particular company has also a larger number of applicants. So I think that the numbers haven't changed a lot from previous years. But we did receive a couple of complaints. I know you as trustees received a couple of complaints, and we just felt, village administrator and myself, along with our chiefs, thought that it's worth discussion if we wanted to put anything into place. I did research with my team. We looked at our surrounding neighboring communities and said, are we too far off from what they're offering? I was quite surprised that ours goes until 9 because what I thought and what my team discussed is that it's 4:30, it's dark. So when, during the winter hours, so at 8 o'clock at night, you feel like that's pretty late and it's been dark for hours and who's coming to your home. So I was surprised to see that most communities were in line with that it's until 9 o'clock p.m. So we looked at about maybe 10 other communities, kind of our neighbors, regards to that. There are some dawn to dusk, but again, that changes with season. And how do you control that? I did hear Chief Snow talk about how they do follow up on the complaints. We have it on our website. So right now, if you currently go to the Village of Germantown website, I always think it's important to say these are the current solicitors in the field. One of the things that I have done since being the clerk here in Germantown is it is a requirement that I have an additional license created in the windshield of a vehicle. It is on a neon piece of paper with the village raised seal. So if the vehicle that is having 5 or 6 of these people on the one minivan is sitting out in front of your residence for 5 hours, and you know that that's an unfamiliar car, there is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in the windshield. Again, it's neon colored that says these are people who are working on behalf of this company. They are licensed with the village. Please call the clerk's office with questions. Additionally, they are required to carry their license on the person. I will change the color every year so they can't make copies. So that's another thing that I'm trying to make sure we're doing. But again, if you want to look at changing the time, I don't know if you've got additional complaints outside of the two that I am familiar with. If we want to have further discussions on what you think is reasonable, do you want to eliminate weekends? That doesn't seem to be consistent with what our neighbors are doing. And again, 9 o'clock seems to be pretty regular.
Trustee Peeper.
So I just found this on the website. That is very helpful. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
And it's apparent that two of these companies have a long list. So maybe we should look into limiting how many people each company can send out.
Mhm.
I think would be a huge start.
So do we, and I wanna be careful. So do we differentiate between exterminators and Girl Scout cookie sellers?
If a police officer is
it-
going to arrest a Girl Scout selling Girl Scout cookies, we have a problem.
I wanna make sure that we're doing that.
So I have not had any experience in this jurisdiction or other communities where the Girl Scouts come in and go door to door. They are sitting more up like at Walmart and the Piggly Wiggly or Syndex and getting those permissions. I think the delivery aspect, they're not coming in to apply for an application to deliver the cookies.
What I'm asking is nonprofits would not need to follow the same requirements, chief.
No, it's required because what we want to do here in the village of Germantown is make sure that anyone is going door to door in our municipality that we've done a background investigation on. Additionally, I think it's important to note that there is a law referred to as Melinda's Law. And Melinda's Law was created, I don't know what year it was in, but there was a solicitor, canvasser, peddler, all one and the same, that was going door to door, we'll say, selling encyclopedias, whatever the case might be. And Melinda was abducted and murdered. So now the state says that based on those individuals that are going to apply for a peddler, canvasser, solicitor permit, we want them to apply with us at the state level to let us know that they're going to be out there canvassing so that there are protections in place and that maybe we can track down what happened or whatever. So we do our due diligence, as does all of our neighboring communities, to my knowledge that when someone applies with us for a peddler permit, we want to make sure that our individuals that are out canvassing and selling in our neighborhood are not convicted of, things that we don't want them in our communities canvassing. So our police department does the background investigation, it provides to us their approval, and we do that. Nonprofits organizations would be held to the same regard. And again, based on that requirement with Melinda's Law with the state, we want to make sure that everyone is following the same procedure.
What about adolescents versus adults?
Well, I mean, what they're provide to us, you're seeing a lot of the college students in one of these organizations, and they just have to provide to us their IDs so that their background investigation can be conducted. To your point, Trustee Peeper, I think it is a large number of applicants in the field. I have posed the question to them as to why so many? Because when you look at areas like Madison or Milwaukee, it's a bigger area which might need 15 people. And the reason for that to me is that they want to be here a shorter period of time as opposed to only 6 people being here a longer period of time.
But would an adolescent be able to apply for a permit?
So the requirement does not state on our application that you must be 18.
So Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts selling popcorn and cookies, they would need to apply for a permit to go around and
I
sell?
think maybe the parent, they wouldn't be sending we've never had where underage, people that are 13 or 12 or 11 coming in to apply.
So Chief Snow, please.
There is an exemption in the statutes for the nonprofits, kids from locally that are selling fundraisers, sporting,
Okay.
things of that nature.
Yeah, and they're not coming in by us.
And so I'd like to make a suggestion. Would we like to ask to have the village attorney come in
Yes.
and put this so we understand, so we can look at this? Does that sound reasonable?
I think another thing that per my experience and through us reaching out and looking at other communities as to what they do, I think one of the things here in Germantown is that our fee is very low. I think that the higher fee is somewhat of a deterrent potentially for other communities. Our fee is, not only is our fee set very low, we also offer a much longer time for them to be there out in the field canvassing. What you're seeing most across the board is that it's good for 30 days and let's call it $100. Whereas here in Germantown, we give them a much longer extension period of time for a less amount. So I think maybe considering the fee and the time, the length of the time to be out in the field before they have to reapply, maybe for an extension would potentially be a consideration.
So this is only for discussion, so we can't take any action. Administrator Krecklo, I see you in the audience. Would you mind putting this either on the village board agenda or taking this up with Attorney Sajak to look into and get these rules changed?
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you very much. Unfinished business item E, please. Washington County Radio Grant. Chief Delane.
The fire department received a grant from Washington County to purchase portable radios. And in order for us to receive that money, there was a resolution that needed to get approved. The money is actually sitting waiting for us. It's just waiting on the approval of this resolution.
Thank you.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion about this item? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Thank you, Chief Delane. Thank you, committee. Moving on to new business, item A, FOC camera lease agreement. Chief Snow, I'm assuming this is you?
Yes, I brought forth the second invoice for our flock cameras. This is basically what we can consider our second set of cameras. So the annual cost of lease those is $15,000 per year, and we are looking for approval to move forward with submitting payment for that invoice.
And we did not budget for this, correct?
Correct.
So this is outside of the budget. And do you know, is there anywhere else in your budget that you can pull it from?
There is, and part of it is through donations that we have received over the years. It's just the issue I brought up last time was funding is
25.
fully was correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but you can find other places to move it around and keep it within your budget,
Yes,
right?
we can.
Then I have no problem with it. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Committee? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. New business item B, application for appointment of successor agent for Aldi store number 67, N96, W18838, County Line Road. Agent for consideration is Eli B. Kin.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Committee, any discussion, please? Seeing that there is none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Last new business item is application for a temporary outside permit extension for Vicksburg Tavern private wedding on October 4th of 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Committee, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Next item is the next meeting date, which will be October 7th at 6 PM.
October 7th at 6.
We're good on the room? Thank you.
It's 1, it's 2, 6 o'clock. I'm good.
Perfect. All right. That'll be our next meeting. And with that, we're adjourned. Thank you. Chief Snow, I have a question for you if you have a moment or two, please.
6 to 7. Done.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, for you,
Thank you, trustee Hudson.
we will bend over backwards to meet your needs.
I guess orange.